Hello everyone and welcome to the Racing School episode 4, and today we're going to be focusing on steering, in particular how to get around a corner in the most efficient way. So here's our example at low speed as usual, and at this episode we're going to be focusing on the Suzuka circuit, and we're going to be focusing on the hairpin at Suzuka. So as you can see, we use the full width of the track on entry, do a nice smooth motion all the way around the corner, and use the full width of the track on exit as well. So it's all nice and smooth, all nice and controlled, and that's what you want to be aiming for. So let's break it down, and here is the top down view of the hairpin that you've just seen at Suzuka. And what you see now is the racing line around there, plus our braking and accelerating points that we know from previous episodes. Now the pink lines that you see are our points at which we start turning the steering wheel and the point at which we stop. So from the first pink line to the blue line, you need to be increasing your steering. At the blue line, you're at the maximum steering angle that you want to be. Then from the blue line to the second pink line, you gradually decrease your steering angle and you're back to being straight after the second pink line. So we're in the driver's eye view for this, and I want you to focus on the steering wheel only. So as you can see, as we enter the corner, we gradually increase the steering, hit the apex and gradually decrease the steering. It's not a quick motion, it's all nice and gradually smoothly done. So we'll slow it down at this point, and we'll come up to our normal braking point, which is here. So we're braking in a straight line, and then we get to this point, which is the first pink line that you saw on the top down view. This is where we start to turn the steering wheel, and we do it gradually. As you can see, the steering wheel starts turning just gradually, increasing the steering angle a little bit more until we reach the apex of the corner. Now this is the blue line that you saw on the top down view, and this is where our steering angle is at its maximum. You don't want any more than this. From this point we gradually decrease the steering angle, bring off the steering as you can see there, use the full width of the track on exit, and we just straighten ourselves up ready for the next corner. As you can see, I'm going to pause it here, and this is going to be the second pink line that you see. We've on the top down view, we're fully straight, we're just ready to go to the next corner now. So yeah, you want to use the full width of the track at all times. So here it is in the normal view, and obviously you can't see the steering wheel at this point, but it just shows that it's all nice and smooth. There aren't any jarring motions, so you're not turning the steering wheel multiple times. It's all nice, one fluid motion. That's what you want to be aiming for. So what shouldn't you do? Well, there's a few things that you shouldn't do with steering. It's a bit more complex than just braking and accelerating. So the first thing that you shouldn't do is try to turn the steering wheel too much or too harshly. As you can see there, the steering just went on straight away, and you end up going a bit wide, losing a bit of grip, and you have to correct it on the exit. Now sometimes you will correct it like that, sometimes you won't be able to. As you can see here in this one, we put the steering on too much, we start to accelerate too early, and our steering is on too much and we spin it around basically. So you want to be always nice and smooth at all times. You don't want to just jam that steering on. Again, here's another example of what you can do wrong, and this is turning too many times, too many inputs. This can be a decent idea if you don't know the track, but you always want to, as soon as you've started turning, keep turning as well, and you need to bring it off nicely. You don't want to be on off all the time. The third thing that you can do wrong is here, and that is coming into it nicely, but then waiting until you're straight until you turn the steering off. Again, same as you don't want to turn too harshly when you enter the corner. You also don't want to turn too harshly when you exit it as well. You need to gradually increase the steering and gradually decrease it. So here's our example at high speed, and we're back in the Audi R18. And it's basically the same thing, you know. It's always nice and smooth. Yes, it's at higher speeds, but the way that you go about the track isn't the same way. It's nice and smooth. And if you watch the steering wheel here, it's the same thing. You know, we brake, then we start to gradually turn the steering wheel until we get to the maximum. Then as soon as we exit the corner, we gradually decrease it. It's all a nice smooth motion, and that's what you want to be aiming for. You need to aim to be as smooth as possible. Once you've started turning the steering wheel, don't turn the other way again until you have hit the apex and you can go back and exit the corner. And I'll talk a bit more in future episodes about how this incorporates itself with accelerating and braking as well, but I just want to focus on steering at the moment. So, some final thoughts. Basically, keep this picture in mind. You know, there's a braking point, you brake it in a straight line, and then you start to turn the steering wheel, and it needs to be a nice, smooth turn. Keep to that racing line, be nice and smooth, don't go on off all the time. It always needs to be in one motion. Obviously that might be a little bit more difficult with a controller, but just try your best. Also, you don't need to turn the steering wheel all the way to the left. That's not necessary. You just have to do it as much as what it takes to get around the corner. Then when you hit the apex of the corner, gradually take the steering off and start accelerating out of it. And that's pretty much it, but we do have a bit of bonus footage here in the S's in Suzuka, which is earlier on in the track, and focus on how the steering goes around these. As you can see, it's just left and right, nice and smooth. There aren't multiple inputs all the time. It's all just nice and controlled around the corners, and the steering, as you can see, it's just nice. As you get to a right-hander, you turn right. As you get to a left, you turn left. It's all nice and controlled. And also, just to finish it, I'll show it in the outside view, so you can just focus on how smooth it is going around the S's. That's always what you want to be aiming for, be as smooth and controlled as possible, because that's how you'll get around it as quickly as possible. So I hope this has helped, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If it has, be sure to leave a like. Let me know down in the comments any questions you've got as well, and I'll be sure to answer them. And we've got a few different things to cover in future videos as well. So there's plenty more to come in this series. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.